Well, hey folks, Real Honestly Return Wrestling. These are 10 of my least favorite women's wrestling managers slash valets because some of them were valets. There are obviously good examples of women's wrestling managers. Sherry Martel, Luna Vachon, I thought lend a lot of really good stuff to the few people she managed. And there were a few others. And by the way, check out my first 13 favorite wrestling managers list if you would like to see, what I thought of Sherry Martel and a couple others. And also look out for 13 more favorite wrestling managers, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And you will see exactly what I enjoyed about some others, and there are some other women that are on there. This is going to focus on women I never personally cared for. I'm going to focus as much on their wrestling characters as I can, though if it turns out that they are really generally shit people, yeah, I'm going to kind of piss on that. And I'm going to kind of, focus on the fact that they pissed on the wrestling business. And yeah, they really did. Some of these really did. And I think you probably can guess who's number 1. But anyway, let's crack on with this. Number 10, Baby Doll. I just never saw the appeal with her. I just never did. I know she was involved in some big angles. She was great with Tully Blanchard when she turned babyface, Baby Doll to babyface. And, aligned with Dusty Rhodes and stuff like that, and did the things that she did, and had some spots with Jim Cornette. Okay, cool, and whatever. She was part of some big moments. I just never got the reason why she was on TV. I didn't think she was really very charismatic. I didn't think she really had a great presence around the ring. She did good for what she did and for the role she was cast in, but I never personally saw the appeal in Baby Doll. I just never did. I just never understood. And if you want to hear more about Baby Doll and stuff like that, and check out her Twitter, you might figure out why. Part of the reason I put her on here. I think you can probably guess politically why I would put her on here. But also, I just never really cared for her character. Her character was just not. I just never got. I never got. Even looking back on it, like now as an adult, looking back on it, I just never got the appeal of her. Number 9, Sunshine. You had Precious and Sunshine, easy for me to say, feuding in World Class Championship Wrestling. Precious was a little better. I mean, she was actually Jimmy's wife. You had Sunshine there, and I'm sorry, I never thought the Sunshine was really very good. I don't know. I never really thought she was all that good. I also was not as big into World Class Championship Wrestling as other people were. Because at the time when I started watching wrestling, I would catch it maybe in syndication here and there, like in the last couple years. But even looking back on it, I don't know. Her and Jimmy Garvin had good chemistry. I just never thought she was really that good. I thought she was kind of unnecessary also. Number 8, Eva Marie. She wasn't very good as a wrestler. She wasn't. I don't care how she tried. She just wasn't very good. She wasn't good as a valet. She couldn't speak. She got heat for, I guess, the right reasons if they wanted to promote the fact that she wasn't very good. But yeah, she was a valet and accompanied people to ringside. Great. Sorry, I just never got it with Eva Marie. I just never understood why the company saw a need to invest in her. I mean, 4 years essentially is how long they had her, or damn close to it. And that's the most you used her. I mean, that's why you used her. You used her as a valet. She wasn't any good at it. She wasn't any good when she tried to talk. She wasn't any good when she tried to wrestle. I mean, sure, she tried. I give her that much credit. At least you tried. Here's your participation trophy. But she just wasn't any good in any role. She was not cut out for the wrestling business. Now, she has defended the wrestling business when people have talked down about it, and that's great. I'm not saying she's a bad person. She just wasn't cut out to be in the wrestling business, and I'm personally glad she's gone. Because she was shit as a valet, and shit as a wrestler. And number 7, Sapphire. I hate to speak ill of the dead. I believe she's passed away. And that's Dusty Rhodes' a sweet sapphire, if you will. I terrible Dusty impression. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to dishonor the Dream's memory with that. Sapphire she was fine for Dusty Rhodes' common man gimmick, the polka dot thing, and that kind of stuff. But she was blasé. She seemed like she was having fun. The fans seemed to like her well enough. She apparently was a really nice person, according to interviews with Dusty Rhodes and interviews with other people that were asked about her. At least ones I've seen. She wasn't disrespectful of the business, so I give her that much credit. But it was to me, it was such a downgrade for Dusty Rhodes. He made it work. I will give him credit for that. And Sapphire certainly played her role as best she could. I just didn't really care. I didn't care for it. I just didn't. And honestly, this is where the rants are going to start to get a lot worse. Because number 6, Shaniqua. I'm I'm sorry. I hope that this is a lesson to anybody that wants to get in the wrestling business. Don't be like her, because she wasn't cut out for the wrestling business. She wasn't charismatic. The whole damn dominatrix thing with the Basham brothers was hideous. I did not need to see that with any of them, because I didn't need to see that stuff on wrestling TV. She lent nothing to their gimmick. The Bashams could have been over plenty fine without Shaniqua there. Did we really need to see her on? Was she cut out for Tough Enough? No, I don't know how the hell she ever got signed. She wasn't around the company very long. I think by 2004 she was gone, maybe 2005. She was shit on the mic. Didn't have a very intimidating presence. Sorry, she didn't. She didn't look like she knew what the fuck she was doing anyway. She wasn't very good in the ring from what little bit I saw. She just wasn't any good. She was one of the most useless people that they've ever had in wrestling. And I'm not just focusing on women now. She's one of the most useless people ever in wrestling. Why she ever got a contract, I have no idea. And people say, oh, well, women like Jackie Gata got a contract. Yeah, Jackie Gata at least seemed to respect the wrestling business. She wasn't really cut out to be a wrestler. She was used a little better in Impact Wrestling until she got pregnant, which, her and Charlie Haas, I guess, have a couple kids. I think they're still married. Somebody look that up and see if they're still married. I don't try to focus on wrestlers' lives too much. But Jackie Gata, Nydia, others. Nydia is somebody that is forgotten about as being a pretty decent women's wrestler, and her and Jamie Noble had really good chemistry. She wasn't really a great manager, but her and Jamie Noble had great chemistry. Shaniqua, though, charisma vacuum, terrible look, terrible promo skills, just bad. She just was really, really bad, and I don't know if it's actually true, but from what I heard, not very nice. But I don't know. I never talked to any fans and met her. If she was not liked backstage, and that's between her and the wrestlers. But she didn't really belong in wrestling, and thank God she was gone soon. Number 5, Karen Jarrett. I hate Karen Jarrett. She was Karen Angle, and then she was Karen Jarrett. She's an idiot. She's a goddamn idiot. The only reason that she is even famous in wrestling is because she married into it. She had no passion for it. She wasn't any good. She could not speak without sounding like you just wanted to, slap yourself in the head with a brick so you didn't have to listen to her or stab your own eardrums out. And she was only on TV at first because she was married to Kurt. And then she started banging Jeff, because that happened. And now, they seem happy together, and Kurt seems happier with his new wife anyway, so whatever, that's their own personal business. But Karen just was a fucking charisma vacuum. And just honest to God, terrible, not any good, terrible on the mic. Absolutely terrible on the mic. One of the worst women that I've ever seen in wrestling, because she just, for what? Why has she been in wrestling that long? Because she's been married into it. She didn't take bumps. She didn't earn her stripes. She didn't. There have been plenty of people, men and women, that have married into the business and just gotten famous because of that. But at least they grow to respect it. To me, Karen did, I don't know. I just got the impression that she just never seemed to want to be in wrestling, but she wanted to be famous. Maybe I'm wrong. Her and Jeff seem happy together, and that's great. If her and Jeff's kids are happy together, fan-fucking-tastic. This ain't about the person. But she's just, she was terrible. She was rock stupid every time she was on TV. Every time she was, name one good segment she was involved in. She got missed from one of the women, I think at the 2011 Bound for Glory. I think it was 2010. I think it was from Winter. I love Winter, by the way. She's beautiful, honestly. But just why? Why was Karen Jarrett on there? Because of who she was married to. It sure as hell wasn't her talent, because she had none. Now we move on to number 4, Mama Benjamin. I know this probably shouldn't have been ranked that high. There's nothing against the woman. The character was stupid. It made Shelton look like a goddamn joke, and the character was just unnecessary. It was basically just based on Big Mama's House. And Big Mama's House, by the way, wasn't that funny. My opinion. You guys like Big Mama House, that's great. Or Big Mama's House, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't care. Martin Lawrence hasn't made that many good comedies in a while. Mama Benjamin is just one of the most unnecessary characters. This isn't even a knock necessarily against the person, just unnecessary and pointless to have her on TV. And then we go to number 3, Sunny. I have ranted enough about Sunny as it is. This may not go very, very long. Sunny was always she did love wrestling. She seemed to study it. She seemed to know it. And that's great. She played her character well because she was a cunt. And she admitted it. She admitted she was a cunt. And that can be seen as admirable, though, unfortunately, she was a bit too much of a cunt, and that undercut a lot of her mainstream success. Like in WWE, she was out like by 98 or something like that, 98, 99, and then was in WCW in 2000. Great idea there. Great idea. She was also in ECW a little bit too. I could recount all the shit that she's talked about and that kind of stuff, and the fact that her and Shawn were together, which, by the way, every time somebody says, "Oh, Shawn's one of the best," or "Oh, Shawn turned his life around," well, he had to, because he was banging some stupid whore and coked out of his goddamn mind, so it's probably a good thing he turned himself around. But let's look at the people that Sunny managed. She managed Chris Candido. Chris could have gotten over without her. I mean, in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I got why they were together. I mean, they fit there. They fit sort of well in ECW. I mean, that was, of course, after their WWE tenure. And Candido went back and forth between WWE and ECW until he finally just decided to stay in ECW because WWE didn't know what the fuck to do with him. Because how would they know what to do with somebody that's actually fucking talented? And yet, they've had plenty of talent. I'm just saying, Candido's somebody that could have really worked for them. And it's a damn shame that he passed away. A real damn shame. Not, of course, that, no thanks to Sunny, who whored herself out to so many people and slept with a bunch of guys and whatever. But, Chris stayed with her and this kind of stuff. But, that's another story for another day. It's unfortunate that Chris Candido passed away. That being said, let's look at the people Sunny managed. Smoking Guns, and this is not necessarily in any order. Body Donnas, Smoking Guns, Godwins, and LOD 2000. Did she lend anything to any of those guys? I mean, the Body Donnas, yes, it was a 3-person effort. Sunny could get herself over. She couldn't get her team over. She just couldn't. And there was a reason why she was ribbed so damn much backstage. Why she got the slop bucket got thrown on her and this kind of stuff, and she got humiliated. Because she was a freaking nuisance. However, she could get attention. And yeah, people back then may have found her attractive. I never did, even as a teenager. Whatever, if you did, I don't really care. That's your business. I'm not going to fault you guys if you found Sunny attractive. As for one of the people coming up here on the list, I might kind of wonder, but that's okay. We all have personal preferences. There are people I like that people were like, wait, why the hell do you like them? Well, because I do and you don't. Sunny, like, the Body Donnas were the best team, were probably the best, fit for her. Which, of course, she always seemed to do well in tag teams, which probably fits for the fact she does all those Skype calls and everything. And probably for the fact that she's the way she is. She's probably used to a lot of tag team action, if you know what I mean. But, the Body Donnas, okay, that wasn't a team that lasted very long, unfortunately. And then you had the Smoking Guns. They could have gotten over a whole lot better had it not been for Sunny. The Godwins could have gotten over a whole lot better. And LOD 2000, I mean, great. You take one of the most iconic teams of all time and you put a lowly whore with them. And I'm sorry, look, again, people may not like me throwing out these terms, but it's not any shock. I mean, look at the stuff that Sunny's done. Even she's admitted it. Does that mean that, she's the worst person in the world? No. I give her credit for respecting the wrestling business and for trying to get clean, but obviously she doesn't want to get clean. And she decides to be stupid and blame other people for it and piss on her legacy and, after the Hall of Fame by Skyping, whoring herself out and pissing on a whole bunch of women, like pissing on Bailey, saying that Bailey and Candice LeRae, better looking women on their worst days, Sonny, than you ever were on your best day. Not that Sonny would ever watch this. Sonny's too busy whoring herself out on Skype. But, see, this is where I told you some of these rants might go a little bit off topic. Yes, she could talk, but she was also extremely annoying. Like, when she decided to mouth off to JR at Survivor Series 96, it's like, I wanted a woman to slap her. I don't want a man to slap a woman. I ain't for that kind of violence. But my God, somebody needed to shut Sonny up, because guess what, Sonny? You weren't as good as you thought you were, and you burned a lot of bridges. And it's your fault that you burned a lot of bridges at the end of the day. You were overrated. Despite the fact that you had passion for the business, you were overrated. Now we move on to Deborah. I talked about Deborah before. I will be brief here. Deborah never deserved to be abused by Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is the one thing I will say. She never deserved that. Never, ever. I will not advocate ever for domestic abuse. that no. But Deborah the character couldn't talk, no respect for the business, no presence at ringside, no presence on the mic, nothing. She lent nothing. Oh boy, she had 2 inflated beach ball tits. Great. So what? Ugh. I'm sorry, is that considered attractive? No, I never thought Deborah was attractive. Just at all. Whatever if you guys did. But Deborah just... she was one of those, again, that only got on TV because of who she was married to and who she was with. Now again, the whole thing with Steve Austin, she didn't deserve that abuse. No woman does. No man does. No partner deserves abuse from their partner. No person deserves abuse from their partner, ever. That much I'll say. But Deborah the character. Shit. Nothing. She was nothing. She was a blip on the fucking radar that got way too much goddamn TV time when she hadn't fucking deserved it. And number 1, Sable. I'm going to say this much. Sable and Brock seem happy together, and that's great. Sable never deserved to be in the wrestling business. She didn't want to take bumps because she didn't like to. She didn't want to get hurt. Well, then get the fuck out of the ring, you stupid woman. And sorry to say, there were women killing themselves out there. Now I know that line "stupid woman" probably triggered a lot of you. But think about it. Sable's in there getting this big push. You got Jacqueline, who's legit tough. Ivory, that's there. Luna didn't deserve that push. So many of these women that they had there were super, super talented. And this dumb cunt, Sable, Rena Mero at the time, and now Rena Lesnar, decided, or it's like, oh, I'm gonna get in on this or whatever because I want to get on TV. Oh, I'll go in the ring. Oh, I don't want to get hurt. But then you have her as what? She was Triple H's, I guess, jacket handler. She decided to jack it off, which is probably the only reason she ever got famous, is because she decided to jack it off backstage for a few people. And then managing Mark Mero, who at the time was her husband. My opinions about Mark Mero, the wrestler, are known. He was a good enough worker. He performed fine. He was better in WCW than he was in WWE, but that was in part because injuries undid a lot of what he could have done in WWE. And Mark Mero's a very good motivational speaker now. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. But Sable quickly overshadowed him. It was stupid. Got into Playboy, whatever, gross. Never wanted to fucking see that shit. And I love women, but I'm sorry, I don't want to see a fucking Barbie doll. Just, that's what Sable was. An idiot that never deserved to be in the wrestling business. Totally undeserving of whatever she got. She never earned it. Oh, she got big ratings. She got this, she got that. Good. That just shows that a lot of people watching the Attitude Era, watching Raw, had nothing better to do with their time than tune in and watch this stupid Barbie doll cunt on TV. The Attitude Era was car crash TV. That's what it was. And these are 10 women that, to me, never deserved to be in the wrestling business. Ever. And especially the top few. Does that mean that they deserve to be abused by anybody? By any man? No. Does that mean that they deserve to be... Does that mean that they deserve to die? No. But as far as wrestling characters, and as far as how they carried themselves in and out of wrestling, a lot of them didn't do that very well, and guess what? That's why I did this list. So anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a lengthy rant, a bit of an angry rant, but this is the last time I'm going to rant about any of these women. This is getting this out of my system. So anyway, do you agree? Do you disagree with what I said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin, and I'll see you soon.